Hello, good evening, and welcome to the second round of the Silver Split Contender Series here at the Virtual Motorsport Series. We are racing in the shadow of the mountain of Fuji today here at the Fuji Speedway. Opened in 1965, so that's well over 50 years ago at this point. 4.5 kilometers and 16 corners make up the stage for tonight, with plenty of overtaking opportunities, especially in the Dunlop corner, turn 10 in sector 2, but also, of course, the turn 1, the Daiichi corner, and around the outside Coca-Cola corner is also an opportunity, of course. And there, turn 10, the end of sector 2, and of course the very slow and tricky sector 3. Not really any overtaking opportunities there, but still plenty of opportunity to lose all the lap time that you've gained in the other places on track. My name is Vera Koolman. Later on we'll be joined by Dan Krilov as well. He's just finishing up his own stuff, so he'll be joining us shortly here as well. As we are nearing the end of the practice session, just prior to the start of LM GT3 qualifying. For those of you who are joining us for the first time here tonight, we have a session of 25 minutes coming up. The first 10 of those will be for LM GT3. Then we have a small break and 5 minutes for those LM GT3 drivers to finish their laps before the hypercars will start their flying laps as well to set the grid for tonight's race. And I can already tell you, just taking a peek at the driver's notes, or the driver briefing notes, we might have some rain coming on as well, which will make it all the more difficult for our drivers out on track here tonight. As we see the practice coming to an end, most of the drivers will make their way to the pit lane in just a few moments. And we will get this race and qualifying on the way as soon as we can. I'm just gonna take you through the results of the race 2 weeks ago. I'm not really sure if we have a graphic for that, but I'm just gonna do it from the list as well. Last week, 2 weeks ago, of course, we had a endurance rounds, the opening race of the season for the Silver Split endurance round at Monza, which an LM GT3 was won by Michael Thomas. So he got 38 points for that. It's a points time 1.5, so more points on the board for a longer race, with Davide Canton in second and John Kurjan in P3. Dus Jean-Baptiste Thomas in fourth, with Chris Vinning in P5, Alessandro Alfano in sixth, Remy Papin in seventh, Manuel Fuchs in eighth, Omet Ohm, our very own Omet Ohm, in P9, and Marco Favero in P10 in LM GT3. I'll walk you through the results of Hypercar later on, as well as we near the qualifying for that class as well. So plenty of action 2 weeks ago at Monza with, well, of course, you kind of have to have a crash at the opening round at the first chicane. It's kind of mandatory at this point. So, of course, a lot of contact between drivers there. Some cars spinning out massively and losing out big time there early on in the race. And, of course, a lot of fighting going on through the midway point of the race as well. So, well, there you have it. It is raining, and for the hypercars, especially later on, that will be very, very tricky indeed with the new tire model that has finally come to LMU. And that same tire model or update has seen some BOP changes for the LM GT3 field as well. So we could expect a bit of a shake-up there. The McLaren 720S that we are on board with here has been, well, kind of dominant the last couple of weeks and rounds. Especially on top speed. So around a track with like Fuji that has a massive back straight, that McLaren could have very well been a top runner. But if it's still that higher up the field, I'm not really sure. I guess time will tell rather shortly. Within the next 10 minutes, we will find out which car comes out on top. So it's kind of a way for us to see also where the BOP has gone after the latest update in LMU. You see multiple drivers making their way out on track. The sky is kind of bright, so I'm not sure if the rain will last all that long. We have, according to the driver's notes, a 60% chance of rain during this qualifying session. Well, the rain has come, that's for sure, but it doesn't really state how long that rain will last. So it might very well be dry for the hypercar drivers later on, but only time will tell if that is the case. It is still raining now, though, so if the track itself will dry up enough. If it stops raining now, that's a whole different story as well. So only time will tell. Lilian Debrecourt, I think it's a new name here. Debrecourt. I'm gonna have to work on the pronunciation, to be honest. Let me just check where they are from. They are from France, of course. I was kind of guessing between France or Belgium at that point. They're driving the 49 McLaren 720S as well. And it says a 95 on the car, but it's number 49 on my sheet here, so that won't be confusing at all. So I don't think they competed last week. No, they didn't. So that's a new driver for us here in the Bronze Series. This driver sure did compete. Remy Papin finished in P7 in that Mercedes AMG. He'll be looking to up a couple of places this time around. He already has 9 points on the board, of course, with the increase in points given during the endurance rounds. But the 7th place all goes very deep into turn 1. Those tires are really not all that happy yet so far. So it's very tricky out there in these conditions. Very slippery, very cold tires. Track as well as cold tires, of course. So it gets very, very tricky out there to put a proper lap time in. Coming through the Coca-Cola corner. Just trying to keep it on the road at this point. It's very, very wet out there. Into the hairpin. Towards the end of Sector 2. It's a 39.7 in Sector 1. We'll find out how quick that is exactly later on in the session. One thing is for sure, I can throw my predicted qualifying lap time out of the window, basically. That's useless at this point. It was a bit deep into Dunlop corner as well, coming through turn 10 and 11. It is a corner technically. It doesn't really look like it, but it is technically a corner. Now through turn 13 and 14, these are the tricky parts of this track. This is where a lot of lap time can both be gained and lost. Through Nets corner, turn 15, the very tricky off-camber, kind of blind left-hander there. And now very wide through Panasonic corner. Almost crawling with that number 6 AMG. And he keeps it within the white lines, so it should be a legal lap there. And now on the back straight towards the start-finish line there. Should be the first competitive lap time on the board. And it's a 49.9, so that's well, about 10 seconds slower than they usually do in the dry. Michael Thomas goes quicker by 0.3 of a second, puts his car in first. And Podence in third in the second Mercedes AMG with Winning in P4. There is Omet Ohm, of course, one of our fellow broadcasters here at the VMS, but she is competing in the silver split. It's looking good so far. Right up there, especially in Sector 2, within 1/10 of a second of Michael Thomas. So this could be a second row for her at this point in the Lamborghini Huracan. There's provisional pole even with 94 thousandths of a second ahead of Michael Thomas. So she puts the Lamborghini Huracan right up there on provisional pole position with 49.5. So that's quite a decent lap time. Alexander Alfano, also the Mercedes AMG. Mercedes is a popular car there. You see the weather slot switching a bit. Purple Sector 1 by 1/10, but it is a bit slower into Sector 2. Let's see if he's able to keep the momentum through Panasonic corner. Oh, over the curb, that's not the ideal line there, but it's still looking good so far. Coming towards the start-finish line. It's 5th for now, so that's about 4.5 tenths behind Omet Ohm. So that's not too bad. It's top 5 for now. Leon Derbekoert in P8 now. 1.4 seconds off the pace, so the McLaren isn't straight to the front yet at this point. Let me just check who else is competing in the McLaren. That's, of course, Alexis Letelier and Davide Canton. And Canton currently in 7th. And I think Letelier might not be competing here tonight. I don't see his name on the board. So I think that's Canton but Michael Thomas, of course, as well. So he is there in 2nd place in the McLaren 720F. But he does come into the pit lane with about 4 minutes to go, so he might be opting to go for a new set of wets there, which is kind of surprising. Of course, we have limited tires in the VMS. It's 10 tires for both qualifying and the race. However, that does except for the wet weather tires, you have unlimited wet weather tires in here, so you can just put on as many tires as you want during the qualifying if it's wet. So he might be choosing to go for a second set. Might find out in a couple of minutes. Wenger a bit of the pace there. Yeah, he is still in the pit lane, so I think he is just putting on some new boots on the McLaren 720S and going for a second run there. It's Jean-Baptiste Thomas, the second Thomas in the field, still in 9th. It is an improvement though, 0.5 off in Sector 2. He's currently 1.6 seconds off the pace after his first flying laps, so this could be an improvement on those times. There's still a lot of water coming down, so I think it's safe to say that those hypercars coming up will have a wet qualifying as well. It's still in 9th, so it is an improvement by a bit. It might have been a yellow. Yeah, it's still 1.6 seconds, so it's not even improvement. He remains in P9. Kind of disappointing for him at this point. Fabian Wenger was very deep into turn 1 as well. That's not the line, not the wet line you want to see. So that's his lap invalidated, I think. Marco Galetti, also the AMG. We have multiple AMGs here in the field. Let me think about 5 AMGs. Him being one of them in the 60 car. And the highest ranking Mercedes AMG is, I think, might be Papen, I think. Yeah, Remy Papen in 3rd. There we have him. My broadcaster got it quicker than I did, so he is currently the highest ranked Mercedes AMG. So it's quite close between the Lamborghini, the McLaren 720S, and the Mercedes AMG. So not really able to spot any BOP related things there. Is Alfano has gone very deep into Dunlop corner, the turn number 10 there. Just outbraked himself, or just parking it there in the 113. Assuming that's his squad is continuing, so that's not his qualifying done yet. So he'll get another lap in shortly. We're nearing the final minute of LM GT3 qualifying. Just keeping it in one piece in this final stage. Just if you're able to get another lap in, that can really save you in these final stages of qualifying. It is still Ahmed Ohm on provisional pole position, followed by Michael Thomas in 3rd and Remy Papen 2nd and Remy Papen in 3rd, with Podence in 4th and Alfano in 5th. So multiple cars coming into the pit lane there again, so that's their qualifying done. 40 seconds left in the session. Galetti is going for it again though. It's just under 7/10 behind in Sector 1, so he won't be challenging for a pole position. Might be able to move himself up the ranks though. He's still in 12th, not having set a competitive lap time, so he'll be at least hoping to put one on the board there. All nice and tidy through Sector 2 and now into Sector 3. Oh, very wide there, loses the rear. Big slide coming through turn 13, so this won't be a quick lap time as well, I don't think, as we see in replay of it. The clock is down to 0, so the qualifying clock for LMG3 is done. They're not able to start another lap time. They can, however, finish their laps, of course. A massive slide through turn 13 and just losing the rear all over. So this won't be a good lap time either for Marco Galetti. I think he is finishing it though, so he will get the lap time on the board, but it won't be enough for any pole position. And he remains in 12, 3.6 seconds off the pace. I don't think he will be happy with that. So that's LM GT3 qualifying done and dusted. We now have a small break before the start of Hypercar qualifying, as we see the final cars making their way into the pit lane. Marco M. Thomas was working on another lap, but he chose to abandon it, being off the pace by about 7/10 there. So let's take you through the standings of the results of LMGT qualifying. It is Ahmed Ohm taking pole position there, so you'll be happy with that, with a 49.45, followed by M. Thomas in second, 49 thousandths behind in second place. Remy Papin in Mercedes AMG in third. Polenz in fourth. Alfano in fifth. Very close between those three drivers. It's, 600ths of a second between the P3, 4, and 5. Canton in sixth with Vinning in seventh. Debrecourt on debut in P8 with Thomas in P9. Larade in P10. He finished up the top 10, 2 seconds off pole position with Fabian Wenger in 11th. Marco Galetti in 12th. And Willard and Van Nimme didn't set a lap time. As we are waiting for the start of a hypercar qualifying in just about 3 minutes, 2 minutes and 10 seconds to be exact. I'll take you through the results of last week. We had Nicolas Ulrich in the end taking the win, driving the Valkyrie, of course. Valkyrie around Monza. It just works. So he took maximum points, followed by Gabo Poor. Those two having a nice battle throughout the race. Is Poulouan in P3, followed by Nathan Perron in fourth. Alex Knudsen in P5, with Davide Stefanici in P6. Alfonso Velen in P7 and Benjamin George in P6, 8. Paul Steiner in P9 and Alessandro Sterle in P10 in the end, with Philip Schlichting and Jeremy Barreau finishing outside the top 10, and a load of DNFs there, or did not start even, with Maximo Barrichello and Daniel Maassen DNFing. Daniel Maassen in the Peugeot having kind of a nightmare out there. He started, I think, on the front row or close to it. Had contact during his first stint and then just dropped back, unable to make up any more places, unfortunately for him. And multiple DNS as well there. So plenty of room for improvements out on track, especially for the those drivers not able to reach the checkered flag. I'm kind of interested to see, curious to see. There we have the number 15 Valkyrie of Philip Schlichting. I think he's driving a new livery, if I heard that correct by my broadcaster earlier on. And it's a lovely Japan-inspired livery. I think that's those flowers. They're very specific to Japan. I think so. I'm not really sure what they're called, but it's a very nice-looking livery there with the pink and the white. I approve. Same for Daniel Maassen, who's also sporting a different livery with the blacked out right-hand side and the blue on the left-hand side this time around. So he used to run a kind of dark red, gray-ish livery, but it's all blue for this race. On board with Nicolas Ulrich, who'll be driving out into the fast lane right now with a minute to go before the start of hypercar qualifying. Now, of course, something to mention is that these cars have had a massive update recently in relation to their tires. So not only is it the first race for them in VMS with those new tires, it's also raining and very cold out there, which bodes well if you're an enjoyer of carnage and craziness out there. And it should provide with plenty of racing action and mistakes potentially as well for these drivers out there. It's still very much raining, so all of them will be out there on the wet weather tires. So with the new update, it's also taking a lot longer to warm up those tires. So usually on about the second lap, you would see start seeing the competitive lap times, but this time it could take up to 2 laps longer than that as well, as we see the cars now driving out of the pit lane. The clock is stuck on 10:16, but there we go. It is below 10 minutes now, so they're able to hop out on track. So expect some mistakes by these drivers, no matter how good they are. These are very, very tricky conditions, and especially with the tire temperatures, it could take a number of laps before we see some competitive lap times on the board here tonight. Yeah, so I am being reminded that the wet weather tires have tire warmers, so that won't be much of the case for the qualifying session. But if it's dry during the race, then we will for sure see those antics out there on track. So hopefully for them, it's being made a bit easier this time around for them. So they have tire warmers for the wet weather tires. so they will be up to speed rather quickly. But especially during the race, where we will probably see rain as well, if they're switching to dries, that could bode for a lot of carnage out there. As we see one of the Valkyries going deep. Let's see a replay of it. That's Alex Knudsen coming to Dunlop corner. Might have just outbraked himself. Oh, got spooked there. Got spooked big time by the traffic up ahead, who stopped a lot quicker than he was anticipating in the 555. So hopefully he doesn't have too much of a flat spot on there. As we see Nicholas Ulrich, of course, the winner 2 weeks ago in Monza in the 999 Valkyrie Fischer Racing Team. Yes, of course, it's the cherry blossoms on Philip Schlichting's car, which is because this is his favorite trick apparently. Well, I don't blame him. I won a 6-hour race here 2 years ago, so it's a personal favorite of mine as well. It's a good choice and lovely livery as well. As now we welcome Daniel Krylov into the commentary box. Daniel, good evening.
Hello, better late than never.
No.
Huh? Oh, as we were attacking with Schlichting.
There's multiple cars going off there.
Yeah.
Well, you're joining on the right moment.
Yeah, exactly. It's the curse. My presence is the curse.
Well, let's see what happens. Just into turn 1. Just losing on the rear.
There. Yeah.
And the Cadillac as well.
Both there. Yeah. First of all, I think I need to apologize for me being late. I had to do some qualifying. So very sorry about that, but I'm sure Stevie kept you all at bay perfectly fine. Yeah, I think everyone knows what's about to happen now with the new tire model with rain at Fuji. I think it's going to be chaotic, to say the least. I think we will see some action. We will not be bored at any time of this race, I suppose, and not at quali. As well as we see right now.
Well, I spoke about mistakes earlier on, and it only took him a single outlap to make those mistakes into turn 1. And of course, while we were talking about the cars who made those mistakes, the commentator's curse is back again with us two here in the commentary booth.
Yeah, of course.
So, of course it is. It kind of has to be, but...
yeah. It wouldn't be a BMS stream if it wasn't for that.
Exactly. At this point, it's kind of... mandatory that there's a commentator's curse with us too.
Yeah, for sure.
So Philip Schlichting not having the start of his qualifying that he was looking for. It is currently Nicholas Ulrich on provisional pole position with a 41.2, followed by Gabo Poor on 0.3 of a second behind. So the top 2 of the Monza race now P1 and P2 again in qualifying for now, with Alessandro Sturle in 3rd, Heinkel in 4th, De Milly in 5th, Knudsen in P6, Perron in P7, Daniel Maassen in P8, and Sterner in P9. But of course, a lot of lap times still coming here. It's a packed grid, by the way. It's 20 hypercars in this race, which is, I think, the biggest amount we've ever seen. So that will be very spicy later on as well. We are seeing Alessandro Sturle on a good lap. At least he was coming through Sector 1, but I think he's being held up quite massively there by the blacked out Ferrari. That's the number 9, I think. So that is... it's he spins as well. That's while I was looking at my sheet, he it's the number 2, of course. So that's Tom De Milly in the Ferrari 499P for the LSX Esports team. Well, I hope your qualifying went a bit better than this, Daniel.
Yes and no. Like, I had the first stint where I just wrecked, I was driving LP2, so I wrecked the tires completely. I spun, I got massive flat spots, but I set it on pole in the second stint, but we got now a bit devastated tires. So we need to manage that over the course of the 4 hours now. So that will be funny as well. I don't know, it's easy. Everyone can do it easy, why not do it hard?
Exactly. What's the point of doing it easy instead of, having fun out there?
Yeah.
Now, speaking of having fun, Nicholas Ulrich is sure looking like he's having fun. 40.5 now, so 5/10 clear of De Milly in 2nd place. Jeremy Barrault moves himself up to 10th. with Puluan in third, Knudsen in fourth, and Henkel in P5. So that's the P3, 4, and 5 again within, well, kind of half a tenth there, just as we saw in LMGT3. So very close stuff by those guys. Indeed, Stefanitsina going third quickest. And it is currently not raining anymore, indeed. So the track won't get any weather at this point, but I don't think it'll dry up enough at all to go for slicks at this stage. That would kind of been a suicide. But they're all somewhat keeping it in one piece after that first lap that we saw at both the Cadillac and the Valkyrie going off into turn one. Well, speaking of course, when I speak about it, Puluan having a magnificent sector 1, spins it again into Dunlop corner. Oh, and a big slide there.
Yeah. That's the main problem with Cadillacs at the moment, and I don't know, I think it's the case with most of the LMDH cars. But not only those. Rear locking is some kind of big issue now. So if you're really trying to push every tenth out of the car, it's really hard to keep the rear stable on while braking, and if you want to avoid this, you get massive front locking. So it's either you take a huge risk or you are just slow. So that's what's been brought with the new update as well, which has been just a massive overhaul of like every kind of aspect the Hypercars has been. Like they get a lot less slip angle. It's just generally a bit harder to drive in terms of everything, basically. As we see now, Daniel Maassen, and I think it was was it a Cadillac?
I think there was a Cadillac there in the background.
Yeah.
Going very deep into turn 1. It's going very wide there. I think it was another Cadillac in the back that kind of had the same issue.
Yeah, I think it was a bit bigger this year. It was a bit more severe.
That's the rear locking that you were talking about,
exactly.
Working in the full swing. Well, one Cadillac who is managing it is Elias Shornek. He puts his Cadillac up into provisional pole position on a 40.3 for the Fischer Racing team. Of course, again, well represented. Philip Schlichting going for another lap now. It's I think he's on new tires, I think, as you see spin of Nicholas Henkel there as well. The newcomer, I believe, for the silver split into the final corner, Panasonic corner. Oh. And just losing it on the exit. That's a shame. Manages to keep going, luckily, but he won't be too happy with that, and that's his final run. Not obstructed as well, kind of, because you take all that speed with you coming into turn 1. So that's what you want. Shifting now 2 tenths down. Oh, loses the rear again.
Yeah. That has some.
And Gabapur also there. Yeah, so those new tires really have to get some used to for these drivers.
Well, fortunately, I've never driven them in the rain or in wet conditions at all, but I can imagine they are more than hard to keep on track with on a dry and a perfect track. So I think in a wet conditions it's going to be quite a sports exercise as well, with all this rotating and steering. I mean, I think these endurance round will be quite hard. Luckily, we have only 80 minutes of racing today.
Yeah, luckily for these drivers, we only have a shorter-ish amount of time for them. But I am curious to see, because it will probably rain in the race as well. There's a 75% chance of rain during the race. But if there is a dry patch in there and they have to go for the slicks, that will throw this whole race up and down, and mistakes will of course happen there as well. So that's gonna be kind of mental to see how all that plays out.
Absolutely.
Well, Benjamin George is on a good lap here. It's a purple sector 2, but now through sector 3, is he able to keep it in one piece? That has been the biggest issue for these drivers. Is to say that loses the rear almost there in the Cadillac. and that's not optimal, but I think for sure it will be better than his current 16th place, as Shornak now goes quicker in a 39.6 there. So that's a very good lap time, 4 tenths clear of Poulouin, who is in second place. Benjamin George goes to P8. So that is a good improvement by him. It is still Niklas Ulrich in third and Nathan Perron in fourth. Knudsen in P5. So I think that is the grid pretty much set. Alex Knudsen is still out there, but I'm not sure if he is still on a flying lap. Their times are running though, so I think they are. Coming through 100R. He's well off the pace there as well, so that won't be a competitive lap for him.
Yeah.
Poulouin goes to semi. So I think that's Hypercar qualifying pretty much done there.
Yeah, it looks like.
So let's take you through the grid for today's race then in the Hypercar field. It will be Shornak on pole position with a 39.6, the only driver to put his car into the 39s. So good stuff by him. And Shornak is, of course, also driving the Cadillac V Series. So somehow managed to put that car through the track today in these very, very tricky conditions and in new tires. It is Poulouin in second place. Good stuff there. Niklas Ulrich, our race winner from 2 weeks ago, in third, 7 tenths of a second behind. Massive gap there. With Nathan Perron in fourth, Alex Knudsen in P5, Savinici in P6, Demily in P7, Benjamin George in 8th, Daniel Maassen finds himself in P9, and Henkel in P10, 1.5 seconds off the pace. Mardukovic in P11, Gabor Bohr, our second place from 2 weeks ago, only in 12th place, 2 seconds behind in qualifying. It is Sterner then in 13th, Sterle in P14, and Jeremy Bureau in 15th, the final driver to put a lap on the board. It is Philip Schlichting, the driver this is his favorite track, so he was hoping to put a better performance out there, but after the massive spin or lockup into turn 1 on his first laps, he doesn't get any further than 16th. Well then, Daniel, I think looking at this and then thinking about the race that it's starting in not too long, this should be plenty of carnage.
Yeah, I'm afraid that this will be some kind of chaos involved for sure. It's I think inevitable. We just hope it's not going to be as significant that it's going to interrupt our fun in this race. But turn 1 is always something in Fuji. I think it looks quite dry for now. So hopefully it's not going to be a more significant problem than it is normally. But as you mentioned, if it pours down, then the race will be turned upside down, and that's going to be maybe a huge thing that's going to maybe benefit some and disadvantage a lot of drivers here, and going to be quite a challenge to overcome.
Yeah, and of course, drivers who do not have that great of a pace in the rain might have great pace during in the dry. The likes of Gabor Bohr, of course, was very quick in Monza, but he's now outside of the top 10, I believe. So he'll be trying to move his way forward, especially during the dry stages of this race. Like as you said, it is looking quite dry out there. So I think we have a dry start, even though despite the 75% chance of rain, which will be good news for these drivers out there. As we see all the cars making their way to the grid. We'll be starting our race in about 20 seconds time. So we have, of course, in LMGT3 as a reminder, Ahmed Ohm on pole position. M. Thomas in second and Papin in third. It is Shornak in first, Poulouin in second, and Ulrich in third for Hypercar. All of them on mediums, so I think the medium might be the softest tire they have as a choice.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure if they're allowed to switch to the hards if the temperature rises again, but I'm not really sure if we'll be seeing that later on. You see the whole field making the way onto the back straight. for the start of this 80-minute race, the sprint race here at Fuji, in the shadow of the Mount Fuji, of course, that we will be seeing plenty of in the background throughout this race. So, making our way to the start of this 80 minutes sprint race at the VMS Silver Split. We'll be racing here in just a few moments' time. Chornak up pole position, followed by Poulouin. 2 Cadillacs up front. Followed by a Valkyrie and an Alpine there as well. Green, green, green. We are racing here at Fuji for the second round of the VMS Silver Split. It's a good start there by the leader, but it's 3 wide in the background. Nathan Perron there in the Alpine in the middle. And trying down the inside there of Elias Shornak, who is going a bit deep into turn 1, gets hit there on the rear. It's a massive spin in the background. And it's multiple hypercars losing out already into turn 1. But it is Ulrich now in the lead, followed by Nathan Perron in the Alpine. And our poleman, Shornak, is now down to 3rd. Despite all the carnage, he managed to stay out there on track there in LMGT3. It is, I think, Alfano now in the lead as well. Oh, that's a massive hit there. By the 555. Oh, getting hit by Omet there and taking a whole lot of LMGT3s with him. So Omet losing her lead there. This is carnage all over the place with hypercars and 3 wide Cadillac GT3s coming through Coca-Cola. Or that's the hairpin, of course. That's pretty much cars everywhere, and hypercars trying to get back to the front as soon as they can. The Cadillac going very wide, almost hitting the camera there into the Dunlop corner. So Omet dropping back big time from the lead in LMGT3. Hypercar, it's Ulrich now leading from Shornak, and Daniel Maassen moves his way up to 3rd with Gabopour in 4th. So not sure what happened there, but massive gains by those drivers. As you see, Nathan Perron there, the Alpine has dropped back significantly after being hit by the Cadillac there. Oh, the background as well. That's a massive shunt for the Alpine, who loses a lot of places.
By the Ferrari? Was he hit by the Ferrari as well then after?
I think so, yeah. I think we might be seeing a replay of it later on. Unfortunately, not at this point. So I think you're right. He was hit there. So despite there not being any rain, the start has been plenty of carnage.
That was a classic Fuji start. I think we got some kind of suspension damage on at least I think 5 hypercars if I count correctly. So we'll see how that will turn out in the end. But yeah, of course, like always, the GT3 field is packed up. There's nothing to fit in between of those cars. They're really fighting for every inch of the racetrack, possibly. And that's the thing with GT3s. I mean, they're not fast. They are the slowest. They are not slow cars, but the slowest cars in this series. But it's just the racing which makes these cars so adorable. In some place, it's one of the, I think it's the most driven car there is currently in the whole of LMU, and that is why, because you see it's just like a army, like cavalry just arriving at you with these cars really just separated by a few tenths of a second. And we saw, I think it was a Valkyrie going straight there into the Dunlop corner, if I'm correct. I don't know. There was
Schlichting. That's Schlichting.
Yep. Yes.
So let's see what happened here. Oh, it just goes too deep, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. No lockup, fortunately for him. Just a bit too late on the brakes, I suppose.
Yep. Meanwhile, Steiner going through Nicholas Heinkel there for 5th place. So the Porsche are working well in these opening few laps. But it's the whole grid has kind of shaken up as we kind of predicted here at the early stages of this race. But it's again Nicholas Ulrich in the 999 who is leading this race after winning 2 weeks ago in Monza, followed by our poleman Elias Shornak in the Fischer Racing Team Cadillac V-Series. I think that's 2 Fischer Racing Team drivers up front right now, with Daniel Maassen in 3rd out of nowhere really. Started in 9th and he's now up to 3rd already, followed by Gabopour, who was also starting outside of the top 10. And now finding himself in 4th place in the 22 Valkyrie. So great start for him as well. In LMG3, it is Alfano now leading in the Mercedes AMG after the hectic opening, followed by Podence and Remy Papin. And our pole sitter, Omet Ohm, is dropped back to P11 at this point, I think. So terrible start for her. Yet again, she's had so many terrible starts already in the VMS, so she won't be happy with that. P9 at the moment. See the move there for second place. That is Remy Papin up to second. It's 3 Mercedes AMG up front, followed by a McLaren 720S there in the hands of M. Thomas. It's Canton in 5th, Jerbekoert in 6th, Thomas in 7th, Laralde in P8, Ohm in 9th, Wenger in P10. It's Willard and Van Nimmen still in the pit lane, so I think they will not be taking the start here tonight. So that's the 12 LMG3 runners. Perron trying to make up some ground there as well, losing the rear, almost trying to overtake Alejandro Sterle for P7. As the Cadillac there is trying to make himself in it with it as well. A terrible start for the Alpine, dropping back to 8th now after that chaotic opening stint. You see Jerbekoert now in 5th as well for LMGT3, so some stuff happening there. And people changing positions. There you go, into turn 1. It is Davide Canton on the outside. And Lilian Jerbekoert. Jerbekoert on the outside and Davide Canton on the inside in the McLaren 720S. The 3 McLarens here fighting for position. On the inside, Lilian goes. And it's almost 3 wide coming through 100R. Like you were mentioning, Neil, these LMP3 cars, they're just sticking around everywhere. It's very easy to race them.
Yeah, of course. You got ABS, that's a huge thing in these cars. It's not like you can just stamp fully into the brakes and let the ABS do all the work. It's not like that at all. As we see them, hold on for a second. Is he going? Oh, that's just close. They really sometimes even bumping each other just a slight bit, but it's just great with the no, there was not a slight bit of bumping.
I think being hit by the Lamborghini there.
Yeah, this could well be.
Let's say that is Laralde in 7th. On board with the Lamborghini Huracan. He's down the inside there.
Oh,
and the McLaren.
Yeah. It's just like a kind of 3 wide, but not exactly. And I don't know. It was optimistic to stick inside, but also I don't think that McLaren saw him properly. As you see the Fischer Racing teams fighting for P1 now. Oh,
we sure do. Well, like we've spoken to these guys multiple times, or at least the Fischer Racing team themselves, and they're always stated that there are no team orders there.
Yeah.
So they are free to race, and Schornek is trying to get that lead back after losing it at the start. But that Valkyrie, as we know, is very, very quick on a straight line. Daniel and I make no secret of that being our favorite car here in this game. So every time we see one out front, it's always very nice. But the Cadillac looking very quick there through the middle sector, or section of this track where downforce is, of course, more important. So I doubt the Valkyrie will be able to keep him behind for a longer period of time. Meanwhile, is Jerbekoert again behind Davide Canton for 5th. With the Lamborghini there of Laralde behind, with the other McLaren dropping back quite a lot. There we see him in the background. But all of these cars just able to follow each other so close. Of course, they're mostly based on mechanical grip. There's not really any downforce there involved. Of course, they do have a rear wing, which helps. But it's mostly mechanical grip, which isn't really affected by any dirty air. So that really helps in terms of the close racing there.
Yeah, for sure. And like I've tried to mention before, the ABS also helps the traction control. Both these cars have it, but I think in terms of drivability, it's just the LMG3 is a bit more forgiving now, especially with the new updates the Hypercars got just recently on this Tuesday. It's really just you can try to be more brave, to be more to take more risks while overtaking and not, completely obliterating your tires or your car entirely. So that's the thing, and that's the main thing of GT3, I think.
Yeah, for sure. As we see Schorneck closing in again, ever so slightly on Niklas Ulrich. I think he's a bit too far back to go for a move now, so that Valkyrie is just enough horsepower to stay ahead of the Cadillac V Series for now. But I think he'll be trying to get a move in as soon as possible. As we have now had the first 10 minutes of this race, still an hour and 10 to go, of course. It's a long old way as the battle for P1 in Hypercar is heating up. Now down the inside, potentially for the Cadillac. There he goes on the inside of the hairpin, and it's a very nice move indeed. Sets up very nicely through 100R. He puts his Cadillac up front, and it's Elias Schorneck back in the lead of this race after losing it about 10 minutes ago on the start. Niklas Ulrich will be trying to get that back as soon as he can, of course, with the enormous V12 in the back of that car, trying to overtake him as soon as possible. As we see Mardukovic overtaking Henkel for 6th there as well. But it's another Cadillac making up a place in the 101 car. And Mardukovic not really having a great qualifying up there, but he is showing some good pace in these opening stages. And it's Debbie Court again trying to go for a move on David Canton. McLaren, of course, very strong on straight line speed. Down the inside, they go for Daiichi corner into turn 1. It's very deep. Oh, he hits them. Yeah, that's a bit too late. ABS can't save you there.
Yeah, no.
See, go ahead.
No, good. I mean, it just he was like trying to go to the inside, and then simultaneously he was the other McLaren was like trying to also swerve to the right, which is quite a risky maneuver to do. If you get it right, it's great. But yeah, I mean, it's just risky. I don't know who's at fault here. It is probably just racing incident, but oh yeah, who's close as well there.
Yeah, it kind of looked like reactionary driving there by the lead car. So responding to the move from the guy behind instead of defending before. So that reaction to a defensive move can be very, very dangerous indeed. I'm not a fan of seeing that at all. I'm not really sure if it was, but it kind of looked like it from that first glance. So, maybe the stewards will have a look at that after the race if anything gets reported. What is the Fuji goes very deep there, I think, but Daniel Maassen going off there in Net's corner. Yeah, he lost some time to Ulrich there again.
For a second, I just thought I was hallucinating, but it really was a car going deep there.
Have you smoked anything during your qualifying? Or
No, I have not. I swear to God.
I believe you. So you have Laurent, kind of the same move hitting. Oh, a massive contact there again with David Canton. The side of the McLaren is really taking a beating there with 2 times now on board with the Lamborghini. Oh, and again, he does the same thing.
Yeah.
Would you say that's reactionary driving by Davide Canton?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he wouldn't have done that if, he wasn't at risk or the Lamborghini wasn't initiating like a sort of pass or trying to go to the inside. I mean, it would have been fine if it was like, I don't know, a few meters earlier, but this, I don't know. I mean, at some stages, I think me myself, I have some similarities to like sometimes go to the inside when I see that the car is also like pushing him to get a bad line for him on the inside, because you don't have that much of an angle there. But it's a bit severe here to do it like right in front of the braking zone, or I mean like a couple of meters before it. So it's a tough call for me to do, as we see lots of bumping here as the hypercars are overlapping the LMG3s here.
That's Ahmed Ohm making a move there on that David Canton, kind of making use of the hypercar field. Schlichting spun again in the Valkyrie. He is really having a terrible race out there. But Omed now up to 6th again after that great move there, making use of the hypercar traffic. Meanwhile, these two also kind of using the LMGT3 traffic on their turn to get moves done. But it is confirmation on Omed Ohm getting past the McLaren of the Vide Canton, now up to 6th place again after losing her first place into lap 1, dropping back to 12th. And now 6th place up there again as well. So it's very good stuff indeed. On board with Philip Schlichting, and I think just losing the rear. But not sure what's happening here. Or is it the...
Oh.
Oh! I think I got an illegal overtake for that.
Yeah. That may be the case.
Oh, he's spun again.
That was quite unfortunate.
That's
Time of cut, yeah.
We cut back to him and he is around going around again. Oh, the BMW.
Oh, no, that was
oh.
Oh. That was Alex.
I think it's... Oh, it is. Yes. But the 555. That is Alex Knudsen indeed. Yeah.
Yeah.
With Stefan Nizzi.
Yeah.
That's a kind of terrible move by the BMW, to be honest. Down the inside, locking up and hitting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not on.
I mean, he made his he missed his breaking point by quite a mile. That was more than optimistic, I suppose.
Yeah, that was just not breaking at all, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
To see Mardukovic moving up on Paul Steiner as well, so he gets the Porsche done and now up into P5. Steiner kind of dropping back a little bit on the cars in front, so the Porsche now in P6. And that gap between the top two really extending to Maassen. It's now 6 seconds already between Niklas Ulrich and Daniel Maassen. So and Gabor Porsche 3 seconds behind Maassen there as well. So those gaps really are extending, but here it's really close for the basically the battle for P6 there up front, and all those cars following are for position, I think. So one small mistake can cost you big time, and someone is mentioning, yes, Mardukovic really is a man on a mission. He started not all that high up the field, but he is really making his way through with some great pace there, as we see the overall standings after 20 minutes of racing in Hypercar. It's a bit of a gap now between Schornek and Niklas Ulrich. As we see replay of that Cadillac having a bit of a moment there through Net's corner, I think going a bit deep. It's Maas in the third and fourth, and Mardukovic that we were seeing here going, almost losing the rear in the Cadillac, but he remains in 5th position. Steiner there in P6, Henkel, Demily and Sturle in the background. There we go, that is Demily trying to go for a move on Nicholas Heinkel down into turn 1 in the Ferrari 499P, and he gets the job done. I think is still there on the outside, but he pushes him off just within the rules, and that's up to P7. And it's Nicholas Henkel in the Peugeot in P8, the second Peugeot of Alexander Sturle in P9, and Nathan Perron in the background in the Alpine in P10. But really, Daniel, the top 10 is just kind of flying away from the rest of the field. There's like a 7-second gap behind. Yeah. Do you think people might have gone for a wet setup instead of a dry setup here?
Oh, well, that's a good shot actually. This could be, but I think I don't know if it's such a big difference on Fuji. I mean, surely you lose some kind of time because it's not optimized on your track conditions, but Fuji in general is quite a high downforce setup. So maybe, yeah, it surely is an option, but you know, it's a high risk to take to optimize your car on wet track when you're starting on a dry track, because you're losing track position, you're losing valuable time. But you know, it could be a huge advantage as well later on in the race, because we got 80 minutes of racing at all, so 1 hour to go now, and we got 75% of rain percentage of rain probability. So that's a double overtake, I think.
Wow.
Or almost. That was late on races. That was massive.
Yeah, he gets it done.
That's exceptionally done. Not happy. I mean, the Peugeots are not happy at all. Flashing the lights just a little bit. But that looked great.
wow, very late on the brakes, but Henkel just kind of leaves the door open and he just moves his Alpine through. That's an insane move by Nathan Perron, who gets 2 places done in 1 move.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've not really seen what's if that's any fault of Perron there for the contact, because I mean it was a slight contact, but I don't think that's something the stewards have to have a look on. So I think it was quite a clean double overtake there. But yeah, what I was referring early on, I think just it's kind of a gamble both ways. I mean, it could be, but I think the safer option is just to take a dry setup. So we will see if it's going to rain, which I think is quite a high chance that it's going to rain. As we see McLaren also braking just a little bit late there. But yeah, we will see essentially. I mean, I'm not a oracle or something here, so we'll see.
How disappointing. I thought you said you would bring one this time around, so we could see how this ended. No, it's still... Exactly. It's very close stuff here for the lead of LMGT3. It's still an hour to go, like you said, in this race. 59 minutes and 35 seconds to be exact. And the battle for P1 in LMGT3 is kind of heating up here, with Remy Papin 0.4 of a second behind on the leader, Alessandro Alfano, with Michael Thomas in third, 0.8 of a second behind him. And Podence only a second behind Michael Thomas as well. So it's still really, really close for the lead in LMGT3. P5 Derbekoert is about 6 seconds behind P4, so he won't be going. He won't be. He has some work to do to go any further closer to the top 4. As I just take a look at the weather predictions to say that for this race, it might be raining near the past the halfway point of this race and the end of this race. So rain, if it comes, it will come near the end of the race here today. So that will presumably throw a big spanner in the works, especially if drivers are not able to work at the same are able to combine it with their regular pit stops. Of course, the race longer than last season, so these drivers will have to make a single pit stop at least during this race to get the virtual energy to where they needed to go. So with the rain potentially coming, 75% chance. It's not a guarantee, but it's a high possibility. There's still plenty of craziness to go. You can see the virtual energy there on the left-hand side. That's a massive difference between Schornek and Uri. Kind of surprising, because I think the Valkyrie is usually a bit less well on the virtual energy. Do you think that might just be fuel saving for Ulrich, or has Schornek kind of underfueled his car?
That's good. I mean, I don't think that's really a point on the fueling the car. Just, I mean, you could like get a tiny margin less to get a big, it's small margin as an advantage for the race start, but I'm not quite sure if he done that. You're asking me some great questions today.
You're so welcome.
I mean, the other Aston Martins look quite similar to Ulrich, and the other Cadillacs, I think, do not look similar to Schornek. So maybe it's something about Schornek's kind of like requirements or things he's dealing with. So maybe everyone is saving this except him. Or he just put a bit less fuel inside, yeah. Although I do not really see a point there. Maybe he's like predicting that there's no point to put everything inside, and he rather fuel it up entirely for the second stint, or he thinks that's going to rain with a huge probability. So I don't know. I have no idea, to be honest.
Well, plenty of options there for sure, as we just saw the overtake by Mardukovic on Gabo Por for P4 in Hypercar. So a nice job by him. He's now well on his way to the podium positions. I already saw someone say it's going to be fun if he reaches Maaston. Well, it's looking quite like it, to be honest. It's 2.5 seconds now. So a lot of time to go in this race, so there's a high probability that Mardukovic will reach Daniel Maassen before the end of this first stint. And now both of them will for sure try and work as hard as they can for that final podium position. About 6.5 seconds behind the two leaders. Meanwhile, this battle for P8 is still going on as the Peugeot going very wide into the next corner and leaves the gap, the door open for Nicholas Henkel there, Pavel Sturner. And now around the outside in the 117 Porsche is Henkel is kind of forced deep into the final corner. And Alexander Sturle also involving himself in this battle for P8. So the Peugeot not really living the best of runs through there, but still able to move, to stay ahead. But not for long though. That is the Porsche going around the outside now into turn one. And I'm assuming he'll get the job done on the brakes in just a few moments. We switch back there, still around the outside. And the Peugeot is able to defend it for now though. Sturle down the inside of the Porsche again. And through Coca-Cola, it's not really a place you want to go in 2 or 3 wide. Oh, I was doing a backs up for now. And it leaves him very vulnerable to Alexander Sturle. It's a bit of a mistake there on the exit as well. And that is Steiner now in P10. And Alexander Sturle now following the second Peugeot in this race. But Henkel not really having the pace right now to stay with the drivers up the road. It's 4 seconds to Nathan Perron there. So this group is kind of falling back a little bit on Nathan Perron and the rest of the field up front. There is the rest of the field. Nathan Perron, of course, starting in 4th position, losing a lot of places at the start of the race, and now climbing his way back up the grid in at Alpine. Alpine, of course, announcing yesterday, I think, that they'll be leaving the real life WEC after this season, which is, of course, a big shame, really. What do you make of that, Daniel? Is it just Alpine shifting to things like Formula One, or they're just not happy with how they're performing?
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I was quite surprised because last season went quite well actually for them. They have their first victory in the top class, I think ever. I don't know, maybe in the when they were driving like this LMP2 kind of hypercar. I don't know if they got a victory back
I think
then.
They won 1 or 2 races with that car as well.
Maybe, but I think like in the new, really with this car, with the new Alpine, that was the first victory at this track, randomly. So that's a funny coincidence. At Fuji they won, so I was quite surprised to see that. But of course, there are lots of new customer teams and new manufacturers pushing the top class of WEC. We will have a new manufacturer this year with Genesis, a new next year with Ford. So, oh gosh, that's just a bit of hugging there, I think, as well. On the business.
It's very, very cozy.
Yeah. Oh, that's not cozy.
Around.
Oh god,
that's too cozy.
Yeah. Too close for comfort, I think.
Yep, down the inside on that is Gabopor in the 22 Valkyrie, and that is Demely, I think. Yeah, Tom Demely. And down the inside of a McLaren 720S, so there's not really a gap there over the curbs, and gets hit on the front. I think that's a bit of too opportunistic from Tom Demely, I think.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, I feel for him. I mean, probably. In most cases, I would have done the same thing, and just hoping that the LMG3 would be so glad and move out of the way, but of course that's not the way you're supposed to do it. Yeah. So I think with lots of new manufacturers pushing the top class of WEC, it also gets like a question of, is it profitable for your team to really compete there? Is it viable for you to do that? For that long of a period. I mean, they've been in the game for, I think, it's the 4th year now, I think. I don't know if they joined, did they join 23?
I think 3rd, I think.
Yeah, okay, they joined 23. Yeah, so with benchmark manufacturers like Ford coming into, huge lockup by by Perron there. I think front lockups are actually not as bad there, to be honest. And as I'm getting
really going slow there, to be honest.
As I'm getting a note by our lovely broadcaster, McLaren is also joining in 2027. So you got Ford and McLaren joining in 2027. So, you know, Alpine and Renault is a big brand, but I'm not sure if they can really like compete with big guys like McLaren like Ford and all of these other great manufacturers we have in the top class currently. So yeah, I think budget has some kind of thing, and also the EV market there's currently for electronic cars is just raffling everything a bit in the economic kind, but that's not the kind of topic we'll be talking here about.
No, that's for sure. As we saw the move from Mardukovic on Daniel Maas, he kind of made it easy for him on the inside of the Daiichi corner, and that's Mardukovic up to third position already a second clear of Daniel Maas. So some insane pace by the Cadillac V Series, as Nathan Perron has also made his way past Gabor. So both Gabor and Daniel Maas are struggling now a bit in those cars. The Valkyrie not really working at this stage. They dropped back quite significantly compared to Mardukovic, and now being passed by both Perron and Maassen as well. So down to 6th place. Perron, of course, he already was behind Daniel Maassen. So now in 6th position at this point. So not really any fireworks going off there between Mardukovic and Daniel Maassen. The gap is already 1.3 seconds. The battle for the lead in LMGT3 is still... Oh no, that's Niklas Ulrich. That was the second place Fischer Racing Team Valkyrie.
Oh, that just looked like his brake pedal or something just snapped. Like he wasn't even able to.
I think his throttle is stuck.
Throttle. Yeah. That looked like some technical issues for sure.
I think his throttle just got stuck and he kind of yeeted himself into the wall there. Let's see an onboard then. Let's listen to the engine.
Yeah, I mean he's still full throttle. I don't know if I think there was some braking, but yeah, he just
very strange.
Oh gosh, I mean that's the worst kind of issues. I mean you got and it's raining, isn't it? I don't know if you mentioned.
It is, yeah. So while we see the second place Niklas Ulrich and the leader in the championship as well out of this race after an issue with his throttle pedal, stuck throttle there. He is out of it, out of this race after crashing, and the rain has come as well. No, not even at the halfway point of this race. So it's kind of a bit too early for these drivers to start thinking about pit stops. But it is now starting to rain again, as we see the Ferrari of Demi kind of struggling with the traffic in this race, going very deep into to the hairpin, and now making his way through the lead of LMGT3. There's Rémi Papin up front in the Mercedes AMG. But Ferrari really not happy in this situation. But yeah, the rain is coming, and this might be the point where this whole race is being turned on its head. We saw a lot of drivers really not all that happy in the rain during qualifying. And those same drivers have made up their way up the front of the field and are leading these races, but their pace didn't really show any good signs during qualifying. So they might as well just be dropping back for the next 45 minutes, depending on how hard it will rain. Let me just check if the racing notes say anything about that. No, they don't. So I'm not really sure how hard it will rain and what kind of time span the rain will intensify, but it's not looking too happy for those drivers who didn't perform all that well during qualifying. As that it's Poulouan and Alex Knudsen fighting for P12 for the final places in the Hypercar field here tonight. But well, this could be very spicy, Daniel. I'm all here for it.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting. Of course, also with the wetter and wetter track, the track getting wetter and wetter, and also like the tires losing grip essentially. Yeah, I don't know if all of these, how well it's going to be with the new tire model, if everything is familiar with like these sort of conditions in between tire changes, both from wet to dry and dry to wet. If we're going to see a wet to dry, which
no, that's
the first. Oh gosh, it was Knudsen and Poulouan, right? Yeah. Oh.
I think the 555 hit the car there. With the traffic, I think these are again the leaders of LMGT3. I think he hit the rear of Rémi Papin. And then he got hit by Poulouin on the rear as well. So let's see if we can spool this back and see an onboard potentially of Knudsen there. I think he either spun it himself or he hit the back of Remy Papin there in the LMGT3. Trying to make these cameras work as well as we can.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not ideal. The weather definitely playing a role there for sure, but I think there was some contact there.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked a lot about this these new tires and stuff, Daniel. And now with the weather coming and those tires really starting to play a role in this race, can you tell a little bit about the new tires and what kind of difference they are?
Yeah, for sure. So there's a reason I think why most races are now held with tire warmers, because if you are driving, as we see, I think it was Amadon, spinning in, was it spin 100 air?
I think she might have. She was in 6th, I think. Oh, I just lost it herself.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Just looked like she got a little bit, scared of the hypercar or something. It was quite strange to see, actually. So the first thing, without optimal tire temperatures, your tires are worth nothing. I mean that really. It's more painful than it's ever been to drive cold tires or not optimal temperature tires. And also there's some kind of it's a lot like the LMP2 tire model of the LMS LMP2s are. It's way less forgiving with the spin. So if you spin like from, I don't know, 20 kilometers per hour, not hitting anything, your tires are fried entirely. You have flat spots on your rear or your front, and it just makes them undrivable for like the rest of the stint. So either you're going to be way off pace, or you're going to just needing to change tires essentially. And in terms of drivability, it's just less forgiving. You have a lot less slip angle. So really, you saw in the Cadillac, I think it was remarkable. It was 3 or 5 times. 2 to 4 times the Cadillac lost its rear, and I was astonished that he really caught it, because I was trying some Cadillacs at around Spa, and like every time I got some rear snapping, it was really just such a small percentage of chance that I could somehow manage to not spin in those cars. So that's a huge thing. So it's really kind of on rails, but if you're like a bit like detached, it's just very hard to somehow keep the cars on the track. So it's a lot more difficult, I mean, in terms of drivability now, to perform in these cars and perform at the highest level possible.
Yep, as we saw, I'm going deep again into Dunlop, and a spin of Schlichting. Replay of Schlichting against spinning, I think, through Net's corner. This is. Yep, there you go on the throttle. So this will be rather related, for sure, with these slippery conditions. I think we might be seeing some cars coming in there for a pit stop as well.
I mean, Schlichting has nothing to lose here. I think he's it was not his first. Oh,
it's Knudsen.
Okay, sorry. I think Schlichting has some kind of issues already in the race. Oh, as we see a lot of cars actually coming in, the majority of those being GT3s, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Schlichting also, he has nothing to lose now. He got, I think, 1 or 2 spins beforehand. So it's really just trying to maybe get some places, gain some places by strategy, which is a good idea in this case. But I think
all of Hypercar also in?
Everyone, yeah, it's not just Schlichting.
Yeah, so the full Hypercar field now also in for those wet weather tires. And at this stage, of course, you can also just fill up the tank and go to the end on a full tank, pretty much. Yeah. Especially in these conditions where you consume a lot less fuel and virtual energy compared to the dry running. So all of these drivers will be able to go to the end of this race. It is Alfano has remained ahead of I forget which name it is, but he is still ahead there. There we go, Podence, of course, in the third Mercedes, but I think Papen has not made a pit stop yet, so he is still out there on slicks, and he might be losing quite a bit of time here in these conditions. That is Shornak still out in the lead, and Perron is now being shown as second as well. So all the hypercars are coming out now. That is Perron indeed coming out in second place. So kind of surprising. The Alpine has jumped a lot of cars there in the pit lane, with Henkel in third, Gabapor in fourth, Sturle there on the inside of Daniel Maassen for fifth place there. Well, start banging their wheels. So Mardukovic, I'm not really sure where he is, but he's lost out big time in the pit lane. He was up there in third position.
Oh, he's
out of the race. Oh no, what happened there? That's very surprising, to say the least. As we're trying to find the moment that happened, he potentially just made an error with his pit stop. But Mardukovic, who was on a significant run throughout this race, is out of the race with presumably, I'm kind of guessing here, some issues with it's a game crash for him. Oh no.
Oh,
that's terrible.
We got two technical issues already. It seems one on the software related and one hardware related. Oh gosh. Stuck throttle and game crash in one race is just devastating, and both like being from cars in P2, I think, at the moment. Yeah. At the moment of happening. I mean, Ulrich was P2 and Mardukovic as well, so that's a shame. I mean, you never want to. You're not even wishing it to your best enemies. Yeah. That
is very true. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this is for the lead of LMGT3. It is Podence on the outside being forced off by Alfano, and Papen has lost the lead. As I was kind of saying, with the rain coming down, he has lost just a little bit of time. He's there in the background, the third AMG in your screen, but he has lost the lead just about after that. After he set out a lap longer in these rainy conditions. Alfano going very deep there as well, side by side now towards Dunlop corner through 300R. And it's Podence on the outside in the yellow Mercedes AMG, trying to stick his nose up ahead, and Alfano backs out for now. He chooses to back off, but it's Mercedes going very deep, and Alfano trying to go for a look around the outside. There's not really any space. Podence is now in the lead of LMGT3, and Repapen is just taking a look down the inside of Alfano, so forcing his way through really in the number 6. Not really sure if it was all that legal, but Papen really is trying to get the position back up there. He, of course, had the lead earlier on, lost it during the pit stop, and is now trying to get past again with these three Mercedes fighting for that single position. You see the BMW M Hybrid also coming through in the background. Papen will not be happy with that, losing that place, and is kind of forcing his way through on Alfano, who is now in third again. Well, Nathan Perron is now in fourth. I think he lost the place to Gabapor there. Yeah, he's up the road. But Perron kind of struggling right now in these conditions, it seems, with Henkel still in second and Gabapor now in third. Also on the Sturle in fifth, trying to hunt down Nathan Perron there in the Alpine. And it's really hammering down now, the rain. Look at those sprays coming off the cars. It's very, very tricky in these conditions to even see what's happening around you, let alone try and race and overtake anyone. So we are past the halfway point in this race. It's 36 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the second round of the VMS Silver Split Contender Series. And it's proper wet out there right now. It's just trying to survive as best you can, and we might be seeing some either cars driving away from the rest of the field, or those gaps really extending or really closing down, with some drivers potentially struggling more than others. Alfano looking not all that confident in this situation. He has gone past Raymond Papen again, so Papen now in third, but he was now on the inside again of turn 11. There's a lot of wheel banging going on there. 13, apologies. Now through 14, still side by side into Net's corner. That's not really a place you want to go side by side. really a place you can go side by side, but they're somehow managing it to do so even through this rain. Great racing by the two of them. Finally losing the rear, and it's Papen up to second place again after a good move through Net's corner. And all this is working in the favor of Christophe Podens, who is still in the lead by over a second at this point. So the two Mercedes behind him really losing out, and already losing out a second on Michael Thomas, who is still in fourth, with Leralde in fifth, De Becourt in sixth, Canton in seventh, Thomas in P8, Ahmed Ohm, after starting from pole, making her way up to sixth again, but now dropping back to ninth, 4 seconds down on the place in front. This is for third though, Nathan Perron in the Alpine, and kind of surprisingly winning it on straight line speed compared to Gabo Poor, who is now on the outside of turn 1 with McLaren in front of him. That's not ideal. And Nathan Perron is able to get the job done for now, I think. Yes, he is. It is the Alpine up into third place. Gabo Poor still going. Oh, I might be taking a look there on the inside. No, he backs out for now. So he, that is Perron, well, probably up to third now. And Remy Papen is still hanging back on Podens, trying to get the place back as soon as he can. There's a yellow flag out there somewhere again. No surprise there in these conditions. These conditions must truly be the trickiest conditions you can possibly in as a driver, especially with multi-class.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, having, especially at a track like Fuji, where you got these elevation changes, especially in the third sector with the low speed corners, where sometimes the water's just kind of stacking up at one like patch, and also you are like, when you having other cars, other traffic, that's really not something you want to have. As we see
Gabo Poor going off. Oh, almost hitting the barrier. But he does remain in front of Sterling. Now he's being overtaken. So he might have let him through. Not really sure, we didn't see it, of course, but he might have let him through because he went off track there. But at least it is now Gabo Poor in fifth, but he is overtaking Sterling again now on the back straight on pure engine power. And Valkyrie, of course, working really well with the V12 in the back. It's a lovely sight that raw V12, even especially when you have modern racing cars mostly working on electric power. Just seeing a naturally aspirated V12 in the back of a race car, it's just very nice.
Yeah, for sure. It's just a bit of nostalgia. It's just what makes this car and this whole whole project so remarkable and astonishing.
It sure does, as we saw the Mercedes Christophe Podens having a wiggle there as the Peugeot of Henkel came through. I think just on the braking, hitting a wet patch, and he got a hit actually by the Peugeot. I kind of missed that there, but that might have been some suspension damage there from Christophe Podens in the yellow Mercedes AMG. So a bit of a weird move by Henkel, who hit the Mercedes there on the left front. Still in one piece for now, luckily. And just not a chance for Remy Papen to really put a nose in somewhere at this point. It's just too slippery and the speeds are just too low to actually go for a move somewhere. See more hypercars making their way through this traffic as well. It is Nathan Perron in third position, is now 1.2 seconds ahead of Gabo Poor in fourth. Who is now, there you have him. He is comfortably ahead of the Ferrari of Demolido. So that's that Ferrari made up some places after the pit stop, but he is still about 4 seconds behind the fourth place. This, however, the two Peugeots, Daniel Maassen on the outside of Alessandro Sterle. Oh, wheel banging on the straight there, and on the braking, the number 14 goes way too deep. And Alessandro Sterle is able to keep the position for now. Especially the lights as well. He really isn't happy in that Peugeot, but it kind of looked like he just locked up on his own coming in there. Let's see the replay.
Maybe it was for the wheel banging beforehand, but
yeah,
not sure.
It did look like Alessandro Sturla was just kind of turning into him at the straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can imagine why you won't be happy with that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Pulwan out of this race as well. In the it's the 91, I think. Let me just check. Oh, the 591, of course. Yes. So he's out of this race as well, unfortunately. Driving for the blue squad by RRCE Esports. So another DNF for the Hypercar field. Well stacked Hypercar field coming into this race, but a lot of DNFs happening, unfortunately, already. It's really just a matter of trains at this point. A lot of cars just having to follow each other wherever they go.
Yeah, I mean, also it's I don't know how well the like site is right now, because with especially in the Hypercar class, if you're going to drive behind the car, there's a lot of spray coming from the diffuser because they're just generating a lot of downforce and sucking all this. As we see, wait, just let me shut for a second.
Yep, around the outside. And
Ooh.
I think finally get the move done then. I think he does.
Beautiful then, yeah. Holy.
Yeah, well done. So that's Raymond Papin up in the lead again for LMGT3. It's a very nice move. It's he'll be happy with that. So he's finally back up to the place where he was before these pit stops. I'm also noticing that, yeah, there we go. The gap between Shornack and Henkel has significantly come down. It was about 10 seconds early on. It's now 4.6. So I think something must have happened to Elias Shornack, who has lost a lot of positions, a lot of time there on the Peugeot of Nicholas Henkel. Of course, Henkel making his debut here tonight for the in the silver split, at least. He didn't compete 2 weeks ago. But Shornack really struggling out there. This could well be one of those drivers who didn't have a lot of pace during the qualifying, although he was up there, of course. Didn't he take? He did take pole position, didn't he? So that's was scratch that whatever I was saying. But he seemingly is very much struggling out there for some reason in that Cadillac V Series.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the Cadillac is generally just not a very stable car, and in these conditions, that is something you want to have. As you see, the gaps really shrinking down quite a big of a margin every lap. I mean, it's fluctuating more, but yeah, I mean, rear locking is a big issue with Cadillac. Let's just phrase it like that. As we see Daniel Marson having some kind of spin in the last corner, I think it is.
It is, yeah, that's the Panasonic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Maassen again not having the greatest of races, unfortunately. He always has a lot of support in the YouTube chat, which is always very nice to see. But he has not been able to capitalize on that support really all in a well. So again, losing some places into the final corner. In the background, oh, that's the Cadillac of Benjamin George going wide there as well. So that's what we saw while Daniel Maassen tried to go for an overtake on the Porsche of Sterner. It is 27 minutes to go in this 80-minute race, the second round of the... Oh, that's why he spun there. I think again, battling with Steiner coming through Coca-Cola. So really not all that happy out there. Daniel Maassen now in 9th position. It's unfortunate for him. But there is 27 minutes to go in the second round of the EMS Silver Split Contender Series. And it's well, raining cats and dogs, as they say in England. Oh, that's Henkel going off there. The second place Peugeot, I think he just kind of went off on his own. Yes, he did. Coming through Net's corner, it's a big slide, and he'll be lucky not to have spun it the full way around. But he loses second place to Nathan Perron in the Alpine, who is now up to second, like I said. And losing a lot of time on Shornack. And Gabapor now only 2 seconds behind as well. So Henkel losing second place after a mistake into Net's corner. And Gabapur really just still hanging on there. Luckily, he's found some pace again. He really was struggling in the dry, but he's found some pace once again in these the wet stages of this race. So we are, like I said, about 26 minutes to go. And it is really the phase of, well, surviving and following each other as best as you can and trying to force another driver into a mistake. But really a lot of overtakes happening on track right now, but it's just a matter of, well, surviving and keeping your car in one piece, because it will get you the points. Kind of surprised personally that we didn't see much more carnage in LMGT3 so far. They're all still very much in one piece.
Yeah, for sure. That's, I mean, it's the GT3 are also, like always, with these close combats and close fights we mentioned beforehand, a class where it sometimes gets too close for comfort. But I mean, in this race, it surely has been the Hypercar class which has been involved in more incidents so far. But as you see, yellow flag as well as somewhere, but surely it's just the minor inconvenience there. I think the thing, oh yeah, it was Marson, I think, again, taking the shortcut. Yeah,
I think it is, yeah.
The thing is, if you're like following a car really closely and you're wanting to overtake it, and you're like going to the inside, it's just like a huge, wait, I don't know what I was trying to say even, I'm sorry. Because what I'm saying is not making any sense. In my head, if you're trying to go to the inside, you have less spray. That's not the case.
Well, if you're trying to overtake someone, you move out of the spray. So yeah, that is very much the case.
Yeah, just screw what I wanted to say. I mean, it's just with these conditions to try and, you know, do a kind of risky maneuver and going to the inside and generally just trying to somehow be late on the brakes or just be faster than the car in front is just involved with a huge amount of risk and a huge amount of potential error. So that's why we don't see it more frequently. But here we see it though in the LMG3 battle between this Lamborghini and the McLaren here.
Yep, that is Leralde on the outside. And well defended by Lilian Debacourt.
For now, we'll see how that will go over the course of the racetrack. Coca-Cola also in those conditions not really a place to overtake, right?
No, we saw that with Maassen, of course, just a bit some minutes ago, where he spun out through Coca-Cola trying to go for an overtake. It's just way too slippery and tricky to go for those high-speed moves, especially around here, and especially in the hypercars, like you said. The hypercars really have been the focus of most of the chaos going on here, and to no surprise really, with the new tires and with most of these drivers not really having any experience or massive experience on these tires. Have only been out for, well, a couple of days, whereas the previous tire model hadn't been updated for about 2 years, I think. So it really is a massive change and a massive shift for these hypercar drivers. So it's no surprise that they are the ones who are struggling so much. As you see, Leralde struggling there as well, trying to overtake Debacourt for P5, but not able to make their way past just now. Oh no, it's the leader.
Yeah, Schonek. He's in P3 now. Oh gosh.
Is it through 100R that he lost it? I think so.
Yeah. Oh wait. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened to me today as well, but it was in a dry. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a shame, losing 2 places there, and that's now the Alpine of Nathan Perron in the lead. So, whereas we about half an hour ago we spoke about Alpine dropping out of WEC in real life, it's now Alpine leading the race here in VMS. So, of course, those things happening, and Henkel still on debut, as I mentioned, in second place, 2 seconds behind. So he'll be happy with that. And now Schonek is under threat by Tom Demely and Gabapur for 3rd place. And those tires, of course, really not really looking happy. Of course, he also has some rear suspension damage, I hear. So this could end disastrously for Elias Schonek like this.
Yeah, I mean, trying to get a whole lot of...
look at that.
Is that potential suspension then.
Yeah, he does have rear suspension damage. I think it's just grabbing all over the place, really.
Yeah, oh well, that's going to make it a lot more difficult as well, because that's a huge load of work already to try and get to the top, but now he's stuck, he's dropped down to P5 essentially, and it's not looking like it's going to be any better now. So, that's a massive effort. Holy.
Oh, yeah, that car is done.
Yeah,
it's
the
pretty
car
much broken at this point.
Isn't even like finishing to dance. It's only just keeping the rears just wobbling all over the place. This is holy.
And a puncture as well.
Oh.
That's Sterle also spinning through Coca-Cola. I think, yeah, that's the same place pretty much as Shornak that we just saw. Oh, that's a massive snap.
Yeah.
Into the wall as well.
That's also the things within your tire model. I mean, I don't know how it's in the rain, how more severe it is, but snaps are much more likely to happen now. Yeah, which we can see now in these difficult conditions as well. It seems like the damage and the puncture of Shornak is something that was caused in the pit lane, which is also quite interesting.
Yes, we saw also Demoli going off there as well. So really a lot of carnage again happening in the hypercar field with multiple cars going off and having damage. So that's, well, at least Shornak having massive suspension damage on the rear. As you can see, he's not even able to keep the car straight out there. The fact he's able to go as quickly as he is kind of insane to me, to be honest. He's still in the rev limiter in 7th gear, so somehow keeping it on the straight. And also, we just saw the Peugeot that is the Sterle, of course, also hitting the barrier, and I think it was also crabbing on the left front. So a lot of damage for multiple cars coming through 100R, having a slide there. And we'll point out on the inside, Tom Demoli around the outside again in the Ferrari 49MP. Demoli going off track earlier on, losing 2 places, but he's back on the inside again. And back up into 3rd. That is Alessandro Sterle fighting with Pavel Venner for P7. He's now P8. Flashing the lights again. He is not happy. Might have been forced off just a little bit there. Let's see the replay. And Peugeot really struggling out there with the damage right now. And going very deep into Coca-Cola. Just no front grip, no confidence on the... Yeah, the car's flying all over the place. That's going to be very, very difficult for Sterle to get to the finish like that. Same for Shornak, of course, who's still in the race somehow. 6 seconds behind Gabelpoor in 4th. And with Oman on the inside of Davide Canton. It's all Canton involved in quite some racing incidents, to say the least, for this race. Also with some questionable moves. Stewart's potentially looking at that later on in the race, but at least to, yeah, let's say it like that, but she gets past this time around without any issues. It's P8 again. So that would still be a couple of points on the board for her. Of course, starting from pole position, you would be hoping for something more than just P8, but Omet's still in this race now, following Thomas for 7th position. A bit wide there through the 100R into the hairpin on the inside. I think.
Also tapping the grass there a little bit on the right hand side.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's see. Vermeet ahead for now. It's still raining out there, so this race isn't drying up anytime soon, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think the usage of any dry tires will be considered for the remaining 70 minutes here.
It is a beautiful sandwich. The consideration of the usage of dry tires. I'm gonna steal that one. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So I think we'll have no more pit lane advantages for now. So everything is up to play for these last 16.5 minutes, and everything's going to be decided on track. Yeah.
Just a funny comment. Our head steward is in the chat as well, saying, "I don't like coming back to the stream and hearing the stewards might look at that later." I can imagine. Yeah, I think it will be less busy for you as it was a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, there might be some stuff there here and there.
Yeah.
But I think this time around won't be too bad.
No, I mean I think most of the things that caused collisions were, I mean we got a few collisions, but most of them would just regard them as racing incidents. But I think stewards might also have to have a look on those, because there's going to be reports, because yeah, racing drivers most of the time feel treated unfairly. I mean, if you're competing in this high level, you're always going to try and holy. I mean, Shonek is really just, you know, trying to hold this car together for the next 15.5 minutes.
The fact that he's still out there.
Somehow dragged over the finish line and collecting all the points he possibly can. So that's a huge effort already, because you can see there's not a single corner he's driving without any kind of correction on the steering wheel. Sometimes more, sometimes less, as we saw in the hairpin. It was quite severe, so it's not going to be really pleasurable to drive right now. Yeah, I mean the Cadillac in the dry is also kind of a ride on a rocket ship. Holy.
Oh.
But I won't even bother to imagine how it's in the wet, and even with a damaged rear suspension and apparently a puncture. So
yeah, the fact that he's still keeping it on the road somehow. Of course, he is dropping back quite significantly compared to Benjamin George, but the fact that he's still just keeping it on the road is kind of insane as it is.
Yeah, really remarkable.
Just trying to go ahead.
No, really remarkable just to kind of try to really survive, and we were trying to say that driving the rain is all about surviving, but I think this is the real survival. And even if he gets overtaken, which I think he gets by Benjamin George in the same machinery, just I think less broken, it's still a massive effort if he's going to finish this race in somewhat a decent position. But I don't think he will be pleased with that, of course, coming from P1 for the entirety of the race, and now dropping back to what is P6 is kind of frustrating. So
yeah, for sure, he won't be too happy with that. Shornack, he is a full-time competitor in the silver split, but he did miss the first round in Monza, so he already missed an endurance round. Oh, going wide there again. That rear really not looking happy, the rear suspension on that Cadillac V Series. So he already lost out on some big points in the opening round, the endurance round, where of course we hand out more points than a regular sprint race. So he needs every point that he can get, and he knows that. So he's just trying to get this thing to the finish line. It's still 13 minutes left to go, so he's getting there slowly but surely, but it's still a long way. He's just trying to wrangle the every last second of performance out of that V8 American car. Oh, met very deep there, almost hitting that is Thomas, I think, up the road. It is Jean-Baptiste Thomas, but she's still keeping that Lamborghini Huracan in one piece. Well, Dembele has closed the gap again on Gabapor. It's now 0.5 of a second. These two have been fighting. And Dembele got past, I believe, at some point, but then had to give the position back after going off track. So they are still in fourth position. And Benjamin George is 11 seconds behind as well, following him passing Shornack, of course. Oh, no, that's a spin of a Dembele. Well, I'm looking at my list of who the leader was. Of course, Elias Shornack, Benjamin George, Dembele spinning around. And I think he just lost it on his own into turn one. Yes, he does, on the power. Oh,
and then hitting into a rear right side there. Hopefully no severe suspension damage. Hopefully nothing serious there. And he can also drag his race car to the end in this remaining 11 minutes and 37 seconds.
But it's looking straight for now, so I don't think there will be any damage, but it does mean he's now right before right ahead of Benjamin George, I was just mentioning earlier. So he dropped back about 9 seconds there.
Oh, and Benjamin George spun. Oh.
There it is. Coming to the skirts again.
Yeah. And he got passed by Schornek.
He did. Schornek still hanging on there somehow. Yeah, so the commentator skirts, of course, striking once again. It hadn't really struck at all during this race, so I was waiting for it. But that is Demely both spinning and then Benjamin George spinning again as well in these very, very tricky conditions. There's now Baptiste Thomas trying to overtake Enzo Leralde for P6. And the McLaren is ahead right now, but I think the Lamborghini had a bit of a better run. He's now in the slipstream though. And the Lamborghini, I think, also powered by a V12. Less loud than the Valkyrie, but I think it's also a V12 at the back of the car. And winning it on top line, straight on speed. Thomas Stoney on the inside though, and he remains ahead. It's very well defended indeed.
Yeah. Wait, what car are you referring to as a V12?
I think the Lamborghini Huracan also has a V12, right?
V10 there.
Ah, V10, yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it was something with a V and a high number, but...
yeah, double digits there.
It's
an Audi engine.
Audi engine.
As we just got told, the broadcaster. Our fact checker.
Our fact checker, yes. Without him, we wouldn't be anywhere here, so that's... quite literally, actually, but without him, we wouldn't have a broadcast at all.
Without we have a podcast, we have live coverage of a live audio coverage of a race, which I think is a lot less pleasurable. So,
oh, for sure,
it's good how it is.
Yes, we really appreciate Nicholas Domino broadcasting these streams as always. We are at the final stages of this race on board with Ahmed Ohm. And on the inside there, Enzo Leralde. Oh no, she gets spun around in the 86 Lamborghini on the inside of the other Lamborghini. And losing a whole heap of places once again. Into 10th place he goes. Difficult
to be mentioning names. We can't be mentioning names anymore. This is getting kind of suspicious, I think.
Poor Ahmed. It's been her performance in qualifying has been really good, but in the races
afterwards been quite a downer, and but somehow she quite okay-ish recovered. She was among a pack and was eager to overtake as we saw, but unfortunately nothing happened. And I think there was a car exiting pit lane, right?
I think you're right.
Yeah, there was the Gabapur. He was in P3 beforehand, I think.
Yeah. Not really sure what happened there, but Gabapur coming through the pit lane again. It's just
I mean, judging, was he standing? I think it was just a drive-through. Is this possible? Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
So just a drive-through. So just a strike too much on track limits, I think. Which is quite hard to do on Fuji as well. I mean, Fuji is kind of the tracks where, an off-track, you're not really able to get a lot of time with. Apart from the Dunlop, the chicane there, maybe. And some
and Coca-Cola
exits. True, yeah, and maybe net corner as well on the exit.
Yeah, those three really the points where you the places you can get an off track there. So
and also with strict track limits, maybe it's more than I'm currently imagining. So yeah,
I think they have 3 points for track limits.
Yeah.
So. It is really quite easy to, especially with strict track limits, to get over that, and especially with, Coca-Cola is a place, same for Nets and Dunlop, like you're mentioning. So, it's still unfortunate for him. He was on course for a podium, but now dropped to P7 after all that, with Demely now in third, and Schornek somehow still in 5th position, and that's very very well done by him so far. So we see Davide Canton defending on Chris Winning for P8. And McLaren having quite an adventurous race as well. going a bit defensive there. It didn't really need to. Narrower line there, so better exit for the Mercedes AMG that we are on board with. Davide Canton involved in quite a fair share of incidents across this race, and he finds himself in P8. With Henkel, I think, making another mistake there. The second place Peugeot again dropping back quite massively, now 17 seconds behind Nathan Perron. Looping it around, coming through Dunlop. It's really looking nasty out there at this point. It's really, really tricky.
Yep, it is. Like the last 5 minutes, I mean, the whole like last 20 minutes has been kind of just dragging your race car. Oh, as you see, I think that was
Thomas there spinning.
Was it Thomas? Oh yeah, Thomas, yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's he was in P6 there, so fighting with I think we just saw him with Finning there fighting, but
that's a massive shunt, and maybe that is it race over for him. I think he's still keep going, but showing
I think so.
Yeah.
Let's see, did he get hit by the... No, just lost it in the zone there through a puddle.
I don't think it has anything to do with the traffic. Just, I don't know, bit more, maybe hit a, like, a wet patch or something. But surely, yeah, very odd. Like a broadcaster found out, very odd place to lose it there. I mean, it's a full throttle, flat right-hander, not really... any kind of difficulties normally for this guy, even in wet conditions. So maybe just got on a bit of a wet area there.
Might have had some earlier damage that we didn't see in the suspension, but caused him to lose it. But maybe it is a weird place.
Yeah, maybe just some erecting, steering there, but who is?
Very weird place indeed, as we are in the final 4 minutes of this second race here at the VMS Silver Split at Le Mans Ultimate. Oh, Matt going for a move, but wasn't really in a place to get the move done, and he touches the rear of that Lexus in front and goes very wide through 100R. She really has been having a tough race out there. This guy, however, P1 for Nathan Perron, 20 seconds up the road from Henkel, kind of gifted the lead after Schornack had some massive issues regarding some suspension damage on the rear, losing it through 100R. And after that, Nathan Perron inherited the lead and just drove away, really. And Stefanitsi P12, we just saw having a spin. Yeah, same point with Omet just coming through. Big spin and hitting the barrier as well at the front. So that's the splitter and the radiator. Really not happy there. But Nathan Perron really has been flying out there and kind of out of nowhere inherited the lead, and he remained there now 20 seconds up the road from Nicholas Henkel. There we go, making his debut at the Silver Split in the Peugeot NX8. And still a very nice P2 for him, ahead of Tom Demily. Tom Demily also didn't take the start 2 weeks ago, so he'll be happy with a third place. And Nathan Perron got 4th position 2 weeks ago. So the top three will, all three of them will be very happy with this result, I'm sure. I think Nathan Perron didn't win a race yet in the VMS Silver Split, if I'm not mistaken, as Omet has parked it, I think, after a very difficult race indeed. So I think that's her race pretty much done. Yeah, she just parks it and is done with it.
Yeah.
So the top three of Hypercar will be very, very pleased with this result, I am sure. Benjamin George finished in 8th position 2 weeks ago, and Schornack didn't take the start either. So I'm sure he was kind of hoping for that result coming in after a pole position, but unfortunately for him, he'll have to wait at least 2 weeks longer to get that first win in the season. But a good performance nonetheless by them. Eamon Papin on course for victory in LMG3. It's still a couple of laps to go, of course. He finished in 7th last time out, so he'll be glad with that. Alfano in second, finished in 6th. And Podence, let me just check, didn't take the start, so 0 points for him on the board. So a good way to start his points tally as well. Now, of course, there's still a minute to go, so anything can change, especially knowing us two. Coming to this curse is a real thing here, especially when Dano Krylov and Michel Coman are on commentary. We will curse everyone out there on track, so don't count your blessings yet. So I think we will have one more lap. Go ahead.
Everything can happen always with us. But yeah, I think that was quite well executed for now by Perron. I mean, it was a huge up and down, you must say, for him. I mean, having some decent qualifying, then dropping down, then it was some kind of being. Oh, was it Barreau?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, maybe also a drive-through, or I don't know. It was just like an up and down midway through the race. He was gaining some positions, but then I don't know, it was kind of, in a no man's land. I mean, he was fighting, but it was like this P8 to P10 where you're like, yeah, okay, with this qualifying, I was expected more. So I'm sure that after like this kind of phase he had in this race, he was not expecting to be on the top step of the podium. Which, if everything goes well and he's going to tackle those last few corners, is going to happen.
Yep, for sure. I don't think he would have imagined this coming to this race. Ron qualifying in 3rd, just keeping it on the road as Shornak is now in 5th and Ulrich is out of this race, and those two guys starting in front of him. But it's been a very, very clean race by him indeed, as the clock has ticked down to 0. So Perron will take the checkered flag this time around. We are still seeing some more battles going on there with Sturla trying to make his way up past Steiner, who has lost some positions there. He's now in P8 and losing it in turn one as well in the 117. So not a happy ending for the Porsche driver out there. But it will be Nathan Perron in the Alpine taking his first victory here at the VMS Silver Split, the 2nd round of the season, and the victory goes to him, the Frenchman driving the French car. Congratulations to Nathan Perron, a very well deserved victory indeed. And I think Papin will cross the line shortly as well. He has still a bit of a way to go. This is the battle for 3rd between Podence and Michael M. Thomas. Podence really dropping back compared to Alfano these last couple of minutes. But Mercedes not really showing the same pace that he had earlier on. And there you have the LM GT3 leader, as I think Henkel will cross the line. There he is for P2 in Hypercar as well. Demily in 3rd. Congratulations to those guys. Benjamin George will come home in 4th, and Shornak, I think, will come home in 5th in the end. There he is. Eilert Shornak in 5th. Very well done indeed with that significant damage, so he'll be happy with that, I'm sure. And Remy Papin will take the win in LM GT3 in the Mercedes AMG, the number 6 car. After a very hectic and chaotic race, he is your winner in LM GT3. Alessandro Alfano is in 2nd place with Christos Podence in the end in 3rd, followed by Michael M. Thomas and Debocourt in P5. They're coming home in about 12 seconds time, presumably. So a bit of a way to go. There they are, Lilian Debocourt. I'm saying she, but basically Lilian is a female name in the Netherlands, so I'm not really sure if it is the case here. So I'm going to stick with they. Coming home in 5th in the McLaren 720S. They'll be happy with that. Scoring points in the first race of the season as well. Well, Daniel, I think that was a chaotic race, to say the least, and a very wet one at some points as well.
Nothing less than we have predicted early on in the qualifying session. So yeah, this race delivered everything we could have asked for, and also quite a great performance. I think we have really said out loud. Henkel did really well on his debut race. I mean, in the qualifying was it was kind of okay. Somewhere a bit of struggle there, but finishing here on his debut as a reserve in P2 is something he surely cannot complain about.
No, for sure. I think it's a very well driven result indeed for Henkel. Let's take a look then at the results, the full results of the LMGT3 field. It is Remy Papin taking the win there after a very entertaining race. Alessandro Alfano coming home in second. Christos Podens in third, followed by Michael M. Thomas in fourth position. Lilian de Beaucourt in fifth, followed by Enzo Leralde in P6. Davide Canton coming home in seventh place. Chris Vinning in P8. It is Jean-Baptiste Thomas in P9, and Fabian Wenger rounds up the top 10. It will be Marco Galetti in 11th, and your DNFs is Ahmed Ohm and Tom Villard, and Romo van Nimme didn't take the start. At Hypercar then, it will be Nathan Perron, the French driver, driving the Alpine, coming home in first, followed by Nicolas Henkel on debut in second place in the Peugeot 9X8. A great result for him. It's Tom Demely in third, followed by Benjamin George in fourth, Elias Shornek in fifth, Daniel Maassen in the end comes home in sixth after a very chaotic race for him. Gabor in seventh, Alexander Sterle in the end in P8. Abel Steiner in P9, Alex Knudsen rounds up the top 10 in the Valkyrie. And I think we had quite a bit of some DNS. Well, there we go. It's quite a long list of DNS. It's Stefanizzi and Barrault rounding up the field in P11 and P12. And the DNS are Poulan, Schlichting, Bardukovic, and Niklas Ulrich. And I think Barrichello, Colombo, Wellen, and Neff did not take the start today. Well, then it's time for the interviews, of course. And well, one driver who is always very keen to talk to us at the end of the race is Daniel Maassen. So I think I'll just drag him right in, our Hypercar driver. There we have him. Good evening, Daniel. Thank you once again for joining us. That was, from our point of view, a very, very chaotic race with the weather playing a huge role. Talk us through it. How was it for your perspective?
Very chaotic. I hope that it was enjoyable on the stream, because it was something in the driver's seat. I'll tell you that.
I mean, it looked like it was more enjoyable from the outside than it was from the inside, for sure.
Yeah, I felt like, especially during the rain, I felt like kind of that meme from the original Jurassic Park where he's driving the Jeep through the rain and he's wiping his glasses off. That was me the whole time. Like, I feel like my eyeballs were sweating.
Dennis Nedry vibes all over.
Yeah.
But in the end, he came home in sixth position after quite a there was a lot of things happening out there on track, especially around you. In the end, are you happy with that result, or do you think you could have got to get more out of it?
I think I could have been fighting somewhere in the top 5 with the dry pace plus my wet pace overall. I still, honestly, I struggle with, since they've kind of changed the rain. I feel it, but I feel like a lot of people spawn, a lot of people have problems. So there's something interesting there. I don't know what it is, but it just feels like there's some lacking information with the rain where you feel like, okay, I'm doing everything right, and then one corner you do the exact same thing and then you spin. So it's interesting. I don't know if there's more tweaks to the rain model or what, hopefully, but I just felt like I did have a good enough pace, and it was really, for me, right, it being a kind of a silver reserve driver focusing on bronze. For me, it's just trying to come in and have a good time, learn what I can, and have a good race.
Well, I'm just trying to see. Of course, you didn't participate in the first round, but it is still a couple of points on the board nonetheless for you this season at least. You already mentioned looking at bronze. You scored some points there as well. I'm just trying to take the sheet in front of me. You're fourth actually on 20 points. Do you just kind of see the silver as more practice for your bronze championship, or is it just having fun?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, anytime there's an event where there's high competition, I can make it work with my schedule, I want to be involved. I think it kind of iron sharpens iron, right? Kind of like you go against people that are very competitive, very good, it's going to ultimately make you better. So I think it's worth trying to race any race I can get into.
Yep, fair enough. Sounds fair enough. Well, thank you very much for joining us again here in the commentary booth, and congratulations on your P6. And we'll see you next time.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate you.
All right, and next guest. Well, I think we're just gonna go to the single LMGT3 driver who is in there, and it is our very own Omet. Omet, good evening. Thank you for joining us. You took pole position, and then it all kind of went away.
Okay, T1. I was always going good, and then an Aston was doing its best scrapyard impersonation, and it was in my way, and I couldn't do anything, and I just kind of had to plow through it. And then in the big right-hander, you know, the one that eats tires.
Yeah. I'm there. Yeah.
I'm still gonna check if it's my fault, but I got taken out, and I went from P4 to P last, and I made my way up to P6, and then I spun, and then I made my way up to P whatever, and it's like a roller coaster. It's like, oh, hope, guys. And I was super fast in the rain. I think I was like at one point the fastest car on track. And I hate this because like I could have done so well if I was not unlucky at the start, and then I'm mentally derailed as time went on. And this car is so hard to drive. Like on the right-hander, it's like such a delicate balance thing, and it's addictive. But like in a race thing, meh. But I'm on one hand though, I'm happy with how I did because I have not touched this track since December in pre-quali. So I don't think I did that bad with no practice. I don't know. I feel disheartened that again I get taken out at the start of the race. You know. So if this is a theme and it happens again in the next one, I'm just gonna withdraw, and it doesn't matter. If I want the last to first challenge, I would. There are many casual races I can do. Not this. You know.
I can feel your frustration coming through the screen. That is for sure.
Also, yeah.
Go ahead.
I just checked the replay as we're speaking, and it was my fault in the right-hander. So I squeezed them too much. It's CG, guys. I'm having a skill issue, guys. Anyway, hi.
Well, I hope your bad luck comes to a stop at some point, and hopefully sooner rather than later. Daniel, did you have any questions for Omet here tonight?
No, fortunately not. I'm just hoping that next race will be better, and we'll see you going the full distance in this championship. So we will keep our fingers crossed that next turn one will be less harsh on you than it has been in the last race.
No, I have to commit to the bit. I have to commit. To, if I'm gonna get, I'm gonna have to be taken out every time.
Show who's boss. You know, you have just to show who really has the pants on there.
What?
So, you know, just be the best version of yourself. I don't know. Just you know, if you're getting taken out all the time, just take out the others. That's maybe.
I think the stewards you're onto something right now. You're onto something.
Yeah. yeah.
All right, and on that bombshell, thank you very much, Omet, for joining us in the commentary booth, and all the best of luck for the next race at Silverstone. Hopefully, a bit more luck that time around.
Yeah, it was also nice to say.
I'm gonna die.
Hopefully not.
You're fired.
Thank you. You're fired.
Not again.
And with that, we're going to move on to the podium setters in Hypercar. Let's just start with P3, Tom Demely. I'm just popping him right in. Good evening, Tom. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations on your P3. You must be very happy with that.
Yeah, sure. So thanks. That was a great race. Some mistakes, of course, with this tricky condition, but yeah, really fun with a lot of overtakes and good result at the end.
Yeah, you didn't take the start 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
but this time around you got 15 points and or 15 points on the board. That still must give you a good feeling coming to the rest of the season that you might be able to go for some good results.
Yeah, that's a good result, and it's really motivating for me. Like I think I can play a good place on the championship, and let's see the next race.
Well, Daniel, did you have any questions for Tom here tonight?
No, certainly not. But best of luck for the rest of for the next races, and yeah, see you around. Enjoy this evening.
Thanks.
Enjoy your
Thanks a
great
lot.
result.
Yep. Well, thank you very much for joining us here, Tom. And like you said, if the pace continues, you might very well be on for some good places in the standings come the end of the season. So all the best of luck and congratulations.
Thanks.
Right, and with that, we're gonna move to our second place, Nicholas Henkel. Gonna move him right in. Good evening, Nicholas.
Good evening.
Making your debut, I think, here in the silver split, coming home in second place, that must be a good feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. I joked about in my team to be back in 10 minutes after race start, but it went a bit longer. So I'm super happy. Super happy about the result. I expected to kind of lose a lot on the dry because I tweaked the setup crazy into the wet. I took about 3 or 4 clicks more of rear wing, something like this. So it went like expected. So slow on the dry and kind of fast in the wet, but never expected to finish on the podium. So super happy about it.
Were you then kind of hoping for even more rain or some longer rain during the race to have a bit more of a chance to go for the lead here?
I think lead was possible. I think not even with pace, but the mistakes killed it. I spun about 3 times, and it's so sketchy. You have no feedback about the rear, and you always drive like on ice. So super happy about P2, and yeah, I think win was possible, but the mistakes killed it. And in the end, I'm kind of happy about finishing. Kind of happy about finishing in top 10. So podium more than expected.
Well, it's a mega effort, and congratulations again from my side. Daniel, did you have any questions for Nicholas here tonight?
Yeah, concerning the rain, do you think like this kind of issue with no feedback on it rear or generally just the drivability in the rain has gotten like worse in the recent update?
Oh, that's a good question. I think the drivability in the dry is more and more weaker.
Yeah.
But in the wets, for me, it was better than before somehow.
Okay. Well,
No feedback, yes, but in the end, more all over the place. I had kind of more grip. Yeah, but the rears are still super sketchy. But yeah, for me, it kind a little bit better in the wet. But yeah, I think it's all about setups, and I think the most guys didn't had one. Me either. I drove and fixed some tweaks, so yeah. We'll see what happened with new setups and more experience on the new tire model.
Well, it's been a great effort from you nonetheless. So congratulations again from your P2. And maybe next time around it will be one place higher. So we'll hopefully see you again in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for casting. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a
Bye-bye.
nice evening. Now we're moving our way to the race winner of tonight. We're welcoming Nathan Perron, our race winner in a hypercar here tonight. Nathan, good evening, and thank you very much for joining us. And congratulations on your victory.
Thanks. That was my first one in this series. Pretty great.
I thought it was indeed. Yeah, we saw you racing last season, or at least I saw you racing last season as well, but never seen you take the win. But how does it feel taking the win, especially in such tricky conditions, where with a lot of mistakes happening all over the place? You must be especially happy with that P1.
I'm insanely happy. You cannot tell, but it's insane. It was insane. Cannot describe.
Were you expecting it at any point during the race? Because there was a lot of mistakes around you, but you weren't really up there at the early stages. So were you expecting to be right up there at the end?
I was expecting to be like P5 at the end of the race because I quite know the Alpine was not a really good car, but at the end it was a very nice car.
It sure looked very comfortable out there. That is for sure. I know. Did you have any questions here tonight for Nathan?
No, but I just wanted to say it was significant seeing you like overcome these kind of difficulties and obstacles you had, because you had some decent qualifying and then dropped down, and then you were in these kind of conditions where you moved up a bit places, dropped down a bit places, and then seeing you on the top side of the podium is really remarkable. So hopefully we'll see lots more of it, and I'm tuned to see you more often on the racetrack. And best of luck for next race.
Thanks.
Thank you very much for joining us here in the commentary booth. Again, massive congratulations for both of us on your first victory. It's been a pleasure to watch your race out there. Well, hopefully we'll see you again in 2 weeks' time at Silverstone.
Yeah. Or in Gold Split, like next week, I think.
Oh yeah, that's also yeah. You might very well be right. So. Plenty of options to see you racing all over the place, indeed. So I will for sure see you at the Gold. Yeah, that's. I'm also doing that one, so I will see you there. That's for sure. Well, thank you again for joining us here in the commentary booth, and best of luck next week in the Gold.
Thanks a lot. Good evening.
Have a good evening. And with that, we are nearing the end of our broadcast here tonight. As you can see, we have 2 of the 8 rounds done and dusted at the Silver Split. Still 6 more rounds to go, and the next one is the 27th of February at Silverstone, the great racing track in the United Kingdom, of course. And keep your eye on that second endurance round, the 13th of March. It is time for the 2.4 hours of Le Mans, the big one. 2 hours and 40 minutes of racing about the Circuit de la Sarthe. Of course, one of the greatest endurance rounds out there. So that will be very, very exciting for sure. Daniel, thank you very much again for joining me here in the commentary booth.
This is a short thing. We have 2 more people who just like joined into the waiting room. Do you want to have a quick chat with them, or do we just?
I'm gonna quickly move to my to the broadcaster. Do we have time for 2 more interviews, or?
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So we have a bit more time. Let's. Yes, we can still drag them in. That is. Yes. It's gonna get up the results on my screen really quickly for LMGT3. That is.
P2 and P3, isn't it?
It is P1 actually. So
P1 and P3, yeah.
We'll start with Christos Podens, 3rd place in LMGT3 then. So 2 more interviews really quickly before we wrap this up. And now, there we go. We have 3rd place in LMGT3. That is Christos Podens. Christos, good evening. Congratulations on your podium here tonight. In those very, very tricky conditions, you must be very happy with that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I honestly, I wouldn't say I'm too pleased because from preparations, I had like a pretty good setup for the rain and I was pretty prepared, but unfortunately, it was quite heavier, the rain, than what I expected, and I just for some reason had 0 grip out there. So yeah, not the best, but I'll take a podium anyway.
Yeah, we're kind of expecting to be further up there given the pace around you. Do you think you were able to maybe go for the win or for 2nd place?
Definitely for 2nd place. I think if I had a bit of a luckier race, maybe for 1st. But yeah, who knows what could have happened if everything went my way. But yeah.
Well, if I just take a quick look at the all-round standings, you didn't take the start, I think, 2 weeks ago at Monza. So it's still some good points and your first points on the board here tonight. Looking at the rest of the championship, do you think you'll be able to challenge across the whole season for podiums?
I hope so. I mean, I think so. Personally, I'll probably be challenging all the time, but yeah, we'll just have to see how it actually is.
Well, congratulations nonetheless from me and from Daniel as well on your P3. Daniel, did you have any questions for Christos here tonight?
No, but just one thing. Did you you said you have quite prepared well in terms of your setup? You had a well setup prepared. Like do you think like more rain would have benefited you then in this case? And how much do you think you've lost in the dry compared to your competitors?
Actually, it's the other way around. If it was raining way less, I would have the car would
Oh.
have been in the optimal condition. And,
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay, then I messed something up. Sorry.
that's all right. But yeah, I was when I was practicing in like on a slightly drier track, that lap times were very, very good. So yeah, it's unlucky that it just didn't play out the same as it was in my practice sessions. But yeah, sometimes that just happens.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a
That is
huge effort by you, finishing P3. Yeah.
It sure is. So congratulations again from both me and Daniel on P3. But probably, hopefully for you, it will be one better in 2 weeks' time at Silverstone as well. So hopefully we'll see you then.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Have a good evening.
Yep. You too.
And our final interview for tonight will be with Remy Papin. Remy Papin taking the win in LMGT3. Good evening, Remy. That was a very chaotic and hectic race from our perspective. You must be very happy with the race win here.
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, super happy, super pleased. The first official win on LMU in official league racing. So yeah, super happy.
Were you at all expecting that kind of pace from your side here tonight, or were you kind of surprised how well you could drive around here?
Not really. I was training with Christers, so I could only compare to his pace. And we did only train like light, wet, not this heavy rain. So it was a bit of a discover at the time, but it felt great. It felt really great.
Now you did really have to fight with Christers as well during the race to get to your victory at some point. You're saying you trained with him. Were you talking together during the race as well, or were you just fighting as much as you could?
Yeah, we were talking as well, and he knew that I had a bit of better pace when the rain was increasing. So yeah, I could let go, and we could have a fair battle as well. So this is really good.
Very, very nice indeed. I think Daniel might have a question or not. I think.
No, I think not. But a massive congratulations on your win. Huge effort by you, and yeah, hopefully we still more of this in the next couple of rounds.
Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Remy, and hopefully we'll see you in 2 weeks' time at Silverstone.
Yeah. See ya.
All right.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
And with that, we are now actually finishing up here at the VMS Silver Split. That was the second round down. The third round at Silverstone, the 27th of February. And like I said, keep your eye on that endurance round on the 13th of March. You don't want to miss that at all. Daniel, thank you very much for joining me here tonight again at the Silver Split. Always a pleasure to share the commentary booth with you again. And I think we had a good one.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Always great to have you here. And you're back at home. Thank you very much for watching once again. Leave a like, do subscribe, all the things the algorithm likes. It really helps us out. And be sure to tune in for the Platinum Split this Sunday as well. Let me just quickly check. That is at Paul Ricard with Edward Hunter and Chris Buxton, the very experienced commentator duo there, of course. So you don't want to miss that one as well, of course. And next week, we will have again also the bronze with me and Daniel, and also the Le Mans endurance round. So that's going to be awesome to say the least. And on Friday 22nd, we have the sprint race in the gold at Imola. So a lot of racing action, a lot of races going on, a lot of things you do not want to miss. So don't go anywhere. We will back before you know it. Until then, though, my name is Vero Koman. I was joined by Daniel Krylov. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.